He spent 21 seasons wearing the same jersey, something almost no professional athlete in modern basketball can claim. A lanky teenager from Würzburg, Germany, once mocked by opponents for being too tall, grew into a 7-foot shooting guard trapped inside a center's body, a walking contradiction that reshaped how the entire sport thought about big men. He won a championship, a finals MVP trophy, and a regular season MVP award, and he retired as one of the highest scorers in NBA history, a legacy built almost entirely on quiet, repetitive gym work rather than highlight reel theatrics. He retired with a statue outside American Airlines Center and a bust in the Basketball Hall of Fame. But somewhere between the fadeaway jumper that broke 1,000 ankles and the quiet, private life he built afterward in Dallas, Dirk Nowitzki became something almost nobody expected. An investor. Now, at 48 years old, the man they used to call the dunking German has quietly built a business portfolio that stretches from cookie delivery trucks to German streaming technology, and most fans have no idea it exists. This is the story of the 5 investments that make up Dirk Nowitzki's business life after basketball, and what they reveal about the values he carried off the court and into boardrooms he once knew nothing about. Number 5 is where it all began, and it started with a box of warm cookies. In 2020, in the middle of a pandemic that shut down entire industries, Nowitzki quietly joined a $15 million funding round for Tiff's Treats, an Austin-based company that pioneered the idea of delivering warm-baked cookies straight to people's doors. He wasn't alone. Jewelry designer Kendra Scott joined the same round. At the time, Tiff's Treats already ran dozens of locations across Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, and North Carolina, and it kept growing even as other businesses collapsed under lockdown pressure. For Nowitzki, it was reportedly his very first startup investment, the moment he stopped being only a basketball player with a savings account and started being a man willing to bet on other people's ideas. It was a small, almost sentimental choice for a first swing. Cookies, not cryptocurrency, warmth, not hype, and it worked. Tiff's Treats went on to expand its footprint even further across the South, riding a business model built entirely on nostalgia, the idea that a warm cookie showing up at your door on a random Tuesday can turn into a genuine memory. For a man who spent 2 decades building his career on fundamentals rather than flash, backing a company that succeeded through consistency rather than trend chasing made a strange kind of sense. Number 4 takes us into an unexpected zone for a 7-foot German import, the machinery of real estate technology. In November of 2021, Nowitzki backed Luxury Presence, a Los Angeles-based software company building websites and digital marketing tools for real estate agents. The round he joined raised nearly $26 million, positioning the company to scale its client base of agents who wanted a stronger online presence in an increasingly digital market. It was a strange leap on paper, a European basketball legend investing in American real estate marketing software, but it fit a pattern that was starting to emerge. Nowitzki wasn't chasing headlines. He was chasing businesses that solved ordinary, unglamorous problems extremely well. He has said in interviews that his old boss and Mavericks owner Mark Cuban became something of an informal mentor during this period, walking him through the difference between public and private companies, the kind of financial education most athletes never receive during their playing careers, when agents and accountants tend to handle everything for them. Nowitzki has openly admitted that Cuban would answer his questions within minutes of him sending them, a strange reversal of roles for a player who spent 2 decades taking direction from the man who owned his team. By his own account, the process felt less like chasing profit and more like finally catching up on years of business lessons he skipped while he was busy chasing championships. Number 3 carries Nowitzki back across the Atlantic Ocean to the country where his story actually began. In 2023, he became a significant investor in Sportauto, a sports technology and live streaming company headquartered in Cologne, Germany, joining its advisory board in the process. He wasn't the only famous name on the investor list. Former Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp joined at the same time, giving the company 2 of European sport's most recognizable figures as backers. Sportauto's American arm, a company called Stadium, is headquartered in Dallas, which meant Nowitzki's investment quietly connected his adopted hometown in Texas back to the country of his birth. For a player who spent over 2 decades becoming a Dallas institution while never losing his German accent or his loyalty to his home country, it was a fitting bridge to build. It also marked a shift in how Nowitzki was thinking about his portfolio, moving beyond small local startups and into a company with an international footprint, one that streams and analyzes sporting events using artificial intelligence and camera technology across an entire continent. Number 2 is proof that Nowitzki's investment style has a taste for beer, quite literally. He became a backer of Rollertown Beerworks, a small craft brewery that launched in 2020 in the town of Salina, Texas, just northwest of Dallas. The brewery grew steadily, expanding into a second location in Frisco, and eventually released a beer named directly after its most famous investor, calling it the Big German, a nickname Nowitzki carried through his entire playing career. It is a small, personal detail that says something about how Nowitzki approaches business. He is not simply writing checks and walking away. He is lending his name, his story, and in this case, his actual nickname, to businesses he genuinely wants to see succeed in the community that made him a legend. That closeness has not made the investment immune to real-world pressure. In 2025, Rollertown found itself forced out of its original Salina location because of rising operating costs, a reminder that even a beloved hometown brand backed by a Hall of Famer is not shielded from the ordinary struggles of small business. Nowitzki has remained involved regardless, choosing to stay attached to the brewery through its harder stretch rather than quietly stepping away, which says as much about his approach to business as any of his successes do. And that brings us to number 1, the investment with his own name on the door. In August of 2023, days before he was formally inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, a restaurant and bar called Simply Nowitzki opened inside Terminal C of Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. Built in partnership with the D&B Mitchell Group, the restaurant blends international dishes with unmistakable touches of home, chicken schnitzel, bratwurst with sauerkraut, and German potato salad sitting on a menu next to Jamaican jerk chicken salad and Thai spicy beef bowls. Travelers passing through the terminal can even step into an augmented reality experience designed to feel like meeting Nowitzki himself. According to DFW executives, Nowitzki approached the airport about the concept years before it opened, wanting to build something permanent in the exact market where his career started and ended. It became his first fully signature venture, the one place where his name is not just attached to an investment, but literally hangs above the door. The staff uniforms even carry a small emblem of his signature one-legged fadeaway shot, a detail so specific it could only have come from someone who was actually in the room while the concept was being designed. Alongside the airport restaurant, Nowitzki has also put money into Tango Room, another food and beverage venture in North Texas, further cementing a pattern where nearly all of his hometown investments revolve around the simple act of feeding people. Taken together, these 5 ventures tell a story that has almost nothing to do with basketball highlights and almost everything to do with patience. Nowitzki has repeatedly downplayed any idea that he is becoming some kind of business mogul. In interviews, he has described himself as still learning, still putting his feet slowly into an unfamiliar world after 2 decades of thinking about nothing but the game. His net worth, built primarily from an NBA career that earned him more than $250 million in salary alone, plus endorsement deals with brands like Nike, Lufthansa, and Panini, is now estimated somewhere between $140 million and $150 million. But what stands out about his investment choices is how local and how personal almost all of them are. A cookie company he could visit, a brewery 45 minutes from his house, a restaurant literally built around his own name. A German sports company connecting him back to Würzburg, the city where a lanky teenager once got mocked for being too tall before a coach named Holger Geschwindner saw something nobody else did. Nowitzki has talked about attending the Venture Dallas conference as both a student and a speaker, sitting in rooms full of entrepreneurs decades younger than him, taking notes on concepts most retired athletes never bother learning. He has even closed out entire summits as the headlining conversation, sharing a stage with business leaders from across the region. A strange sight for a man who spent most of his adult life avoiding cameras and interviews whenever possible. He has also put money into a fund run through Dallas Opportunity Partners, a deal-making platform for local businesses, expanding his reach even further into the city that adopted him back in 1998. Slowly, without ever declaring himself a mogul, without ever chasing the flashy investment trends that swallow up other retired athletes, Dirk Nowitzki built a quiet, almost stubbornly loyal portfolio rooted entirely in the two places that shaped him: Dallas, Texas, and Germany. At 48 years old, most former superstars are chasing television deals or building personal brands around nostalgia. Nowitzki did that too, joining Amazon Prime Video as an NBA studio analyst. But underneath the broadcasting career sits something quieter and in some ways more revealing. A man once known for taking hometown discounts worth almost $200 million in career earnings, simply because loyalty mattered more to him than maximizing every contract, has carried that same loyalty directly into his life after basketball. He is not spreading his money across flashy startups in Silicon Valley. He is putting it into cookies, beer, real estate software, sports technology, and a restaurant with his own name on it, all of it tied back to the two homes that made him who he is. He has also stayed close to the game itself, quietly mentoring the Mavericks' newest young star, Cooper Flagg, and sending him a welcome message after Dallas made him the top pick in the 2025 draft, a small gesture that shows the same instinct for loyalty running through both his basketball life and his business one. Whether he is reviewing a term sheet or sending encouragement to a rookie half his age, the throughline never really changes. Maybe that is the real reveal behind the headline. Not a list of investments designed to impress anyone, but a portrait of a legend who, even in retirement, is still playing the long game, one warm cookie, one cold beer, and one plate of schnitzel at a time.